On the edge of the vast steppe of Kazakhstan, where once the great Silk Route ran, there stands a magnificent mausoleum. A choir sings the praises of a man who is still revered today, Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi. It was here in Turkestan that he lived and taught, and here too in 1166 that he died. Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi was the most important founder of a religion in the history of Central Asia. It was he, many centuries ago, who introduced the Kazakhs to Islam. Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi was the man who reconciled Islam with the culture of the steppe. The steppe in Kazakhstan seems endless. This is how Indira begins her day. Although the Kazakhs are Muslims, they are anything but orthodox. The ribbons are intended to protect the livestock and the yurts, the nomads' tents, from evil spirits. The peoples of Central Asia adopted Islam over 1,000 years ago, but the Kazakhs only did so loosely. They continued to cultivate their nomadic traditions. Men like Bakht still lead the old Kazakh life even today. In winter, the livestock is kept in stalls. But in summer, Bakht roams the vast steppe with his animals and his family, and the yurt. Today is a special day. Grandma and Auntie have come from the far-off city, and other guests are expected. There's a mood of celebration developing. But Indira has a lot of work to do, even though it is actually her day to celebrate. This tune, in fact, is being played in her honor, because today is Indira's 28th birthday. All the guests have found the yurt without any problem, despite the fact that it's out in the steppe in the middle of nowhere. The songs, tradition and culture of these once nomadic people have been passed on by word of mouth. No monuments have been left behind for posterity, apart from one, that is. The traditions of the Kazakhs are rooted here in the steppe, and their songs still tell of the vastness of the landscape, the freedom of the goat herds, and the solitude in which they live. For the next 4 days, Bakht's brother will be tending to the livestock, because as a birthday present, Bakht is taking his wife on a trip. It's something he's had planned for several years, because at some stage in his life, every Kazakh has to make a pilgrimage to Turkestan. The children and their grandparents are also going along. Bakht puts his foot down because they've got a long drive ahead of them. 600 kilometers through the dusty steppe, along roads as straight as a die, to the far south of Kazakhstan and the little town of Turkestan. Turkestan would be just another small market town were it not for the fact that this is also the site of the Mausoleum of Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi. Turkestan is the most important place of pilgrimage in Central Asia. People come here from afar, because this is the burial place of the forefather of Sufism, a form of Islam which predominates in Central Asia. Ahmed Yasawi is still revered as the common people's saint even today. In the 14th century, the great conqueror Timur had a mausoleum of such grandeur built that those who gazed upon it were struck with awe, and that is still the case today. The portal arch is 30 meters high. While the grandparents are keeping an eye on the children, Bacht and Indira take a walk around the monumental edifice. The great dome is 40 meters high. It could be seen by horsemen out in the steppe from as much as 40 kilometers away. An opulent filigree mosaic of glazed tiles covers the brick facade. This mausoleum in Turkestan is one of the most beautiful buildings of the Timurid era. Timur the Great loved power and architecture. In the 14th century, he ruled over the whole of Central Asia and half the known world. The mausoleum he had built here on the edge of the steppe was created not only in honor of the dead saint. The intention was also for any aggressor to be filled with awe. Architecture as a warning. Invader, look at our buildings. In contrast to Timur, Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi led a modest, indeed ascetic life. For 40 days each year, he fasted underground. His subterranean mosque alongside the mausoleum has long since been excavated. It was here that he taught. Here that he made the high Islam of the Arabs accessible to the people of the steppe who had never learned to read. He wrote songs and poems which people learned off by heart. He opened up another path to God, that of feeling, the path of Sufism. Even today, the Sufis still gather at 8 o'clock every evening in the mosque in Turkestan to take part in the Sikr, the Sufistic service conceived long ago by Hodsha Ahmed Yasawi. There are silent, quiet, and loud forms of the Sikr, with and without chanting. Repeating words of praise, the devout focus on God for 2 hours through rhythmic movements and a concentrated breathing technique, until they are close to Him, until they feel Him. Yasawi simply integrated pre-Islamic sorcery and shamanism. His popular formula, that faith comes not from knowledge but from feeling, gave rise to a gentle, tolerant Islam. In Kazakhstan, Islam is more a kind of national everyday custom. Very few of those who make the pilgrimage here are active Sufis. The majority are just ordinary visitors. Some women come here from the city, others from farms out in the countryside. After the 70 godless years of the Soviet era, they visit Yasawi's tomb in search of inner peace through reflection, and of their Kazakh identity. That also applies to these young men. Yildiz, Samat, Altinbek and the others are professional musicians. They founded the Yasawi choir, which sings the poems of the national saint. Beneath the new Arab-Islamic harmonies, there is still a trace of Russo-Soviet choral tradition. This is a new kind of music, one in search of something. According to popular belief, the mausoleum is still imbued with the baraka, the power of the saint's blessing, which can be drawn on by touching the walls. Inside the building, pilgrims pray briefly at the Kazan, a heavy, artistic bronze basin weighing 2 tons. Designed by Timur himself, it used to contain sweetened water for the pilgrims. Bakht and his family then head on to the rearmost part of the mausoleum, where the burial chamber is located. For more than 900 years, this has been the final resting place of the penniless poet and mystic who is regarded as holy in Kazakhstan. His burial chamber has its own turquoise dome, which soars up into the blue Kazakh sky. The mausoleum also served as a testing ground for Timur, for it was here that his masons gained experience in the construction of domes, arches, crossbeams and vaults. The aim was to calculate the statics for an edifice bigger than anything that had ever been built in Central Asia. Above all, though, experts from Persia introduced the high art of ceramic glazing. They experimented with the blue luster of the domes, which later was to shine forth in Timur's capital, Samarkand. Through its very nature, nomadic culture has not produced great buildings. Kazakhstan has just this one example. That is why the mausoleum, the town, and the Sufistic Islam of Ahmed Yasawi are very special to the Kazakhs. Especially today. Since the Soviet regime and all its values crumbled to dust, people here have posed certain questions. Who are we? Where do we come from? What do we want to be? After 4 days away, Bakht wants to return to the steppe and his livestock as quickly as possible. Soon, he'll be back in his daily routine. But he'll reflect on his pilgrimage to Turkestan for a long time to come.